AEA Harpoon double barrel 50 caliber air gun that works off of pre-charged cartridge. This thing is pretty dang unique, and I've actually never had an air gun quite like this in for review. So I'm pretty excited. I hope that you guys are excited. Stay tuned and check it out. Today we're looking at this guy right here. Because the Harpoon is used with two individually loaded cartridges, that gives you the ability to actually load two different types of ammo. So I thought that would be interesting to give it a shot, right? So we've got a hollow point and a 50 cal round ball slug in this guy. We're going to flip this to fire both of them at once, and we're going to test it out on some soda pop cans. Here we go. So the AEA Harpoon, as I said, it is a little bit different, being that it's the only air gun I've ever had that works off of a pre-charged cartridge like this, rather than what normal air guns have is like a bottle or a cylinder right there, right? So kind of unique, and that definitely comes with some advantages and some disadvantages. So today we're going to take a good honest look at really what this brings to the table and what it's useful for, and really where maybe it doesn't shine. Now, there's no perfect air gun, of course. If there was, China would already be knocking them off and making them at a quarter of the price, right? So we kind of look at every air gun as an individual tool in our air gun arsenal, right? And each air gun sort of fits its own individual purpose or need. And this right here, the Harpoon, has a very sort of unique purpose or need that it could definitely fulfill, and some needs that it won't fulfill. So obviously, because it operates off of these guys right here, these pre-charged cartridges, you're really simplifying the whole air gun. All that's really in here is just basically a trigger mechanism. We don't have to worry about any O-rings or any really parts or seals that are going to go bad. So that's kind of cool. We've got a very basic design that way. And perhaps if you've got a bad O-ring or a bad cartridge, these things are super easy to fix and super easy to just replace and get more of. But that is the disadvantage. Basically, you've only got as many shots as you have these guys right here on tap. So that could be a huge advantage or sort of a disadvantage. Right now, I've got this Harpoon. It only came with two of these guys. So every time that I shoot two shots, I've got to go and hook it up to my compressor, top these guys back off again, and then I'm ready to take just two more shots. Now, if I happen to have a whole double bandolero full of these guys with 50 shots on tap, that'd be a heck of a lot of shots for a big bore air gun, because most of the time, as you all know, with big bore air guns, we're working on a somewhat limited shot count. Whereas this guy right here, if you've got a stack of these, you can just keep grabbing them, slamming them in there, and you're ready to go. You're unlimited, basically, as you're only limited to the number of cartridges that you have. So as far as big bores go, that's kind of cool. You can have this guy, and like I said, have a whole stack of these guys, and you're ready to shoot for days. These cartridges, they charge to a maximum of 5,000 PSI each cartridge, but you don't have to charge them all the way to 5,000 PSI. Of course, if you want to get the max power, that's what you're going to have to do. And 5,000 PSI is a little bit hard to come by, unless, of course, you've got a compressor that's capable of doing that over and over and over again. And as you can see right here, this is a spent burst disc. So each time that you fill these guys up, you've got to put a brand new burst disc in this part right here, and then screw this guy back down. You have to take this little plastic piece out right here, which is what holds your slug when you're ready to shoot out, and you connect in a adapter that fills this guy up. So basically what I'm getting at is the filling process it's a little bit time consuming. So it's not something that you're going to do in a hurry, and you only get one shot at a time. So you make one of these and essentially you've got one bullet that you just made, and then you do another one and you've got another bullet that you just made. All right, let's take a break to see what a double tap looks like for power on some ballistics gel. Wow, what a shot. Double shot. Both of them almost made it all the way through. I mean, I'm glad that we did not tip this guy upright, because we needed the entire block to catch that double shot. So the one that hit more towards the top area there, you can really see, I mean, major cavitation, major tumbling, just intense damage as it worked its way through. And the bottom one you can see was also causing some cavitation. For whatever reason, it didn't tumble quite as much, but a double shot like that from a close range, like 10 yards, would be devastating to say the least. All right, so these two cartridges here, been sitting in my truck for the last couple days, and it's hot out today. And just pulled the gun out of the truck. They're piping hot. They seem to have been holding pressure though, but the real test is going to be, have these lost any pressure? So we're gonna see right now with the chronograph, we're gonna fire one shot at a time right now, see if the velocity matches what we got the other day off of two freshly filled cartridges, and we'll know if this thing is leaking down as it sits in the hot truck or if it's staying fresh and ready to go. So here we go. Let's turn on the RFX 44 there, flick it out of safe, make sure we're on single shot there, and get lined up and take our shots. Here we go. All right, there's one. 548. Looks like it is matching what we had the other day on that one. So let's try this other. Here we go. Let's see. And that one, 538. So pretty dang close. Seem to be holding pressure. So that's 2 days in on a full 5,000 PSI charge on those two cartridges, whatever you want to call them, shells. And they held pressure, gave us good velocities. One final advantage to these smaller cartridges is that they're small. So if you're in a survival type situation, filling these up with a hand pump would actually be not that hard at all, because it's a very small volume of air that you need to get in order to get this guy topped back off. So hand pumpable? Absolutely yes. So as I mentioned, this is a very simple design. All that's in this gun is the trigger components and the barrel system, which is pretty cool because you can actually swap out these short barrels for longer barrels. And word is that they've got some smooth bore options on the way that will actually allow this to be a true shotgun shooting shot. So for hunters, this could be pretty dang awesome. Small game, throw in a couple of cartridges with some actual shot, and now you're out there getting quail, cottontail with an air gun. So actually the only O-ring in this whole system is right here in the cartridge itself. Just right here at the base of the cartridge, we've got one singular O-ring. So as far as an air gun setup that could potentially be very easy to maintain and keep going down the long term, I would say that this is probably actually very reliable. Again, if a cartridge completely goes bad, swap it out, throw it away, get more cartridges. I would definitely say if you've got this, it only comes with two. You're going to want more, so make sure that you do pretty much whatever it takes to get more of these guys right here, because two is definitely not enough. But if you've got more, you're pretty much future proof. Find out what size that one O-ring is, and you've got an air gun that is going to last basically as long as you are. So gotta say, guys, in my testing, the Harpoon is not been the most accurate big bore gun that I've ever shot, but given its form factor being sort of like this double barrel sawed off sort of an effect, I didn't necessarily expect off the charts accuracy out of it. I expected to be able to hit something at maybe a maximum of 25 yards, and it's definitely proven to absolutely be effective at that distance. And of course, with these shorter barrels, this is something that you could keep around as a home defense, a personal defense gun. And of course, in those cases, most times it's even closer distances that you're encountering your target at, maybe even 10 yards or less. And definitely at those distances with the double barrel, you're still going to make absolute contact. So speaking into that self-defense sort of a use for this, which I think is absolutely a perfect use for this type of a gun, one thing that this does that's very cool is it offers the ability to fire 2 shots at once. So you can flip this switch right here from single shot mode down to double shot mode. So in single shot mode, it basically works like this. Pull the trigger, that fires this side. Pull the trigger again, and that fires this side. Now, when you switch this down to double shot mode, one trigger pull is going to fire both barrels at once. So that's pretty dang awesome. Versatility there in just the ability to kind of choose in that moment, in the heat of that moment. Is this a target that I want to put both of these shots on right now? Switch that down to double shot and wham, let them have it. That's kind of cool. Only air gun I've actually ever had that could fire 2 shots at once without kind of making an accident of double chambering, right? So then you put it into the single shot mode and you've got a good trigger. I mean, the trigger is not as bad as you might think it would be just sort of looking at that. I know it looks kind of funky, but it's actually pretty predictable and pretty crisp. So you've got a quick first shot and then a quick second follow-up shot, just wham, wham, right there like that without having to do anything. Pretty dang cool. Not many other big bores that can do that. Most other big bores, you know, they're not essentially semi-auto like that. You have to rack something like that. Whereas this guy, just bam, bam, and you've got 2 shots right there like that. So there's definitely a lot that this very unique design has to offer. And of course, there's a few disadvantages to that. But as I mentioned in the beginning, there is no perfect air gun. Could definitely get some close range big game hunting done or work as an awesome option for home defense. Again, because of those cartridges, you're not working with some of the drawbacks like you're working with normal big bores. If a cartridge fails, pop it open, slap in another cartridge, you're good to go. There's a lot to think about on this one, guys. I hope that I've covered enough of it to kind of get your juices flowing there and get things going. And I hope that this has been an interesting one for you to watch. Nonetheless, the AEA Harpoon has been a fun one for me to shoot. I hope that you like hanging out with me today. If you did and you haven't got enough just yet, check out one of the other couple of videos up on screen right now. And of course, help the channel out by smashing some of those sponsor links down below. I would really appreciate you guys doing that, actually buying some stuff, helping me make more cool videos like this one here today. And until next time, shoot straight, stay free. I love you guys.